So we're right now we're rushing to the animal hospital. Rio had some worms, like I mentioned in the first video, and we gave her worming medication prescribed by the vet, and she seemed to get better, but her tummy stayed bloated. So we went in and got another examination, and they did a fecal sample and sent it into the lab. The first fecal sample was done in-house, which actually kind of bothered me. That's why I went to the vet. I could have just given her a random, worming myself, but they didn't see any for sure what worms were or anything like that in-house. So anyway, so when we went back the second time, I said, hey, can you send this into the lab? I want to know what kind of worms she has, if any. And so they sent it into the lab and came back that she had pinworms. So they prescribed 3 different medications that we were supposed to give her. And so we started giving her the medications the first day. She seemed okay. She was a little weird, but nothing extreme, A few hours after Rio took her second dose of medication, she fell into a deep sleep. She would lay like this without moving, and we thought she was asleep, but it was kind of strange that she was sleeping so deeply. While she was in this deep sleep, she sometimes started twitching and moving around like slightly, but minks sometimes do that in their sleep, so it wasn't that weird, but she was twitching a little more than usual. So I ended up putting Rio to bed, and I thought it was weird that she didn't wake up when I moved her, but hey, maybe she was just in a deep sleep, right? So I left her in her bed and woke up in the morning and looked in her litter box, and I was rather shocked to see that it was still clean. I'd cleaned it out the night before and there were no new droppings, and I thought, oh crap. So I reached in her box to pull her out, and she was laying with saliva all down the side of her face, and she was just laying there twitching, but not really moving, just twitching like she was in her sleep, and I thought, crap. So we're rushing her to the animal hospital right now, the same one that treated her, and we're gonna see what's going on. Hopefully she'll be okay. This is really scary. I've never seen a mink this bad that's still alive. She's starting to move a little more than she did. We sat in the waiting room of the vet's office, anxiously awaiting the vet to come and look at Rio. It was heartbreaking to watch her lay like that, body quivering, tongue slightly poking out. It just made me sick. I kept thinking in my head, this is such a stupid way to lose a mink. Such a stupid way to lose a mink. I mean, come on. I took her to the vet to help her get better, not make her die. I was so frustrated, kicking myself and wanting to kick the vet and everything around me, just so frustrated. I was so annoyed. Here I was trying to do things right. I normally do all my own vet work, and I've never had a problem like this. Here I was taking my mink to the vet for the first time to get a simple little issue taken care of, and what happens? The mink's left paralyzed and twitching. Left her at the vet office. She's with them now, so we didn't have a lot of hope she was going to pull out of it when we came in. I mean, honestly, she was so just out of it. The vet seen this before, and with a dog that was overdosed with one of the drugs that we were giving her for her worming, and he's like, yeah, he's like, she just must be sensitive to it, and we gave her too much, we prescribed too much, and that's what he's guessing. He says, from what he's seen, if you just give them time and let it work out of their system, that they should return to normal, is what he says. part of me says she'll be fine, and part of me says I don't know how she could be so out of it and end up fine, especially at such a young age and being such a small animal. I've never seen a mink that helpless out of it, that pulled out of it, you know. Any mink I've seen that's looked like that, they died. So we're driving back right now to the animal hospital to check on little Rio. She was just twitching and twitching and twitching so much they gave her some drugs to put her out so she'd relax. I don't know, I have mixed feelings about that too. Is that really going to help, or is that going to make things worse? She was already freaking paralyzed. How does paralyzing her further help? I don't know. I'm not a vet, so we're both stressing out pretty bad. Yeah, it really sucks. We just barely got started with her. There's a good chance we just lost her. Now for you guys at home viewing this on YouTube, you know you're gonna go through this with us. You know, I'm posting this whether she dies or lives, so just because I posted this and you're watching it right now doesn't mean she survived and made it. You know, I kind of hate this reality television that's not really reality, so you guys are gonna get the real deal. If she's gone, then you're gonna watch through till she's gone. If she makes it, then you know, obviously we'll film that too. So so frustrating. Alrighty, so we just pulled up to the vet, and we're gonna go see how Rio's doing. Pretty nervous. I don't have a whole lot of hope, to be honest, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, she's still about the same as we saw her last, just a little skinnier. So we're gonna take her home and we'll see how she does. Later that night, after getting Rio home, we pulled the tube feeding supplies out to feed her, and to our surprise it looked like she wanted to lap the formula up herself. So rather than tube feeding her, we slowly dripped formula into her mouth, and as you can see here, she's lapping it up without a problem. Surprisingly, just the simple act of lapping the formula as we dripped it into her mouth was a big improvement from how she had been previously. This little bit of improvement gave me some hope that Rio just might make it after all, but I still had my doubts. Yeah, you're getting it down. After feeding Rio a meal of formula, we then took her to try and stimulate her to go to the bathroom, as she hadn't gone to the bathroom for quite some time. There we go, good girl. Good girl. Oh, does that feel better? Does that feel better, huh? After all this growth and improvement, little Rio is back to being a helpless infant all over again. The next morning, I bought some canned cat food to try and get Rio to eat some solids. Rio, as you can tell, really wanted to eat the cat food, but she wasn't quite coordinated enough. I was worried Rio might start choking on the little bits of food she was trying to swallow, so I went back to feeding her the formula like the night before. For that entire day, we fed Rio nothing but formula. But by evening time, she could move around a little bit and even had her eyes open again. So we decided to try giving her some solid food. We again gave Rio some canned cat food like we'd tried earlier that morning, and this time she was eagerly eating and chewing and swallowing without any complications. I was so excited to finally see Rio able to perform normal functions again. Finally, my hope had returned that Rio might actually make it. For the next little while, I only fed Rio small meals so as not to shock her system by giving her too much at once. I woke up every 2 hours that night to give her another small meal, just to keep enough food in her system to give her strength, but not feed her so much that it might overwhelm her delicate stomach. Later that night when we got home, I was surprised to find Rio out on the floor. She had crawled out of the small box I was keeping her in while she was sick and was walking around exploring things. This excited me so much to see her moving around and using her body and mind again.
Start to swell till the crowd goes on. What we gonna do, kid?